Greetings, good people. I hope that everyone is fine and keeping well. Welcome back to my channel. I'm thrilled and excited today because I have a very special guest. She's a brilliant writer and published author. She's the elegant and eloquent force behind Veiled Heart, which is her first book. And with this very captivating read, she declares her entry into the world of literature with a roar. Today, the brilliant author of Veiled Heart is unveiled as we get to know her better. And so I am pleased, very pleased to introduce Debby Jenn Onduru. And so Debby Jenn, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you for your time. Tell us about yourself. Who is Debby Jenn?
Well, thank you for allowing me to introduce myself. My name is Debby Jenn. I'm an author of the book Veiled Heart. I'm also a writer of small articles here and there. I'm a daughter to Mr. and Mrs. Onduru, and I'm also a sister and a friend. Yes, and I'm really, really happy to be with you guys today. Thank you so much.
All right, wonderful, wonderful. Let me see. Here's Veiled Heart. You can see it through the filter I have here, Veiled Heart. So I have my copy. I'm the proud owner of a copy. So excellent. If I could ask you then, Debby Jenn, what has inspired you to be a writer and to be an author?
I wouldn't say I was really inspired by something in particular, because I started writing at a very young age. I used to write journals and, just record how my day was going, how things were happening, my environment, So I picked an interest in writing stories now when I was in high school, because now I realized I could actually write stories and people would read and just be excited about what I was writing. And I was like, oh, so this is something good. This is something that gets people entertained. And just like that, I started writing stories in class when I was in high school, and my friends would pass it around the class and they would read and they would tell me I was good at what I was doing. So I think I drew my inspiration from there. I started exploring what else I could write, how far I could go with it. And personally, I think it's just an inborn kind of thing, a talent or something like that. So I didn't have something specific that inspired me. I just started off like that.
All right, nice. Yeah. Wonderful. And so your star started shining in high school.
Yes, I could say that.
That's tremendous. I know definitely when your own peers appreciate your work, that is a big stamp of approval.
Yes, it is. It is.
Wow, that's wonderful. So then let's talk about Veiled Heart. So what inspired the storyline? Of course, we don't want to give too much away because the readers need to dig in for themselves and really enjoy this this read. But what inspired the storyline? And also, what would you like readers to get out of reading this excellent and dynamic book?
Well, for Veiled Heart, it came about after a conversation. Writers, we are very attentive people. We pay attention to our environment, we pay attention to conversations and everything that is happening around us. We are always very, very alert. So there is this conversation we were having about a soldier who went about protecting his country and everything. And then when he came back, he realized that the woman that was in his life, his girlfriend, or rather fiancé, was taking advantage of the fact that he was away and misusing the monies that he was sending for them to build a home something that was long-term for them. So he realized there was some sort of a betrayal. And then out of that conversation, I thought, okay, why not dig into the life of soldiers and see what they go through, what their lives are about. And just like that, a story came about.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Wonderful. And what would you like for readers to get out of from your book?
Veiled Heart is about relationships. It's about family values. There's so much to learn in Veiled Heart. I mean, parenting. We see the life of a young man who takes the responsibility to raise a child that is not his. There's so much that comes with it. He's a young man. He has no clue about parenting. He has no idea of what to do, how to attend to a teenager's need and a young adult and all these steps. So there is so much to learn on how we can raise our children. You know, a lot of times people think that parenting is so easy. You go around questioning how people are raising their children, but then we don't realize that once these children grow up, they're not children anymore. They're young adults who are exploring lives. They go about doing things that you as a parent don't think your children should be doing. And then the way we correct them, the way we go about educating them, sometimes we use ways that no longer work for them. So it's just a lot of complications. You know, you fight, you don't understand each other, you don't communicate, and Veiled Heart exposes so much as in us as parents, as teenagers, as young adults. There's just so much to read in this book, and there's so much to get out of it. I don't want to spoil the storyline and everything, so I just want people to just get the book and read for themselves. It is entertaining, it is educative, and the storyline is amazing. They will love it.
Well, what you've just shared really, you know, it gets to my heart, to be honest, as a parent. And I know for me, in you know, okay, currently, you know, I'm married. I have a son. You actually, you know my wife. You know my son. And so many years ago, as a as a Christian, I thought to myself, I think the most difficult part of just Christian faith is being a parent. And after becoming a parent, I confirmed that. And so then when my son became a teenager, then it was confirmed even more. And so I love everything that you have described. Perhaps I should have read Veiled Heart maybe 10 years ago to help equip me. But for sure, it's an adventure, parenting, and just, you know, the generations understanding each other, parents and children. And I know as a parent, I have to look back to when I was a teenager and I wanted to spread my wings, which may not always have been well understood in the nest that we call home and parents. So wonderful. Thank you. That's a very dynamic theme. And I know it will resonate with a lot of people who will want to then read the book. And I definitely recommend the book, by the way. And that's why I'm interviewing Debby Jenn, because I recommend this book. I've started the book. I haven't finished. I have a bad habit of not finishing things I start, but I've thoroughly enjoyed the start. And I just really want to encourage everyone out there to get a copy. So let me ask you, as we continue, in the credits, I know you thank several people. You mentioned your parents, and you mentioned your friend Achieng Opio. What do these people in particular mean to you?
Of course, I dedicated the book to my parents because they saw me through like every phase of life. You know, everything that I've been through, they were there for me. They have been there for me. They're actually the first people who realized I could write. There's this one time, like I said, I was in the habit of writing my journals. So there's this one time I forgot my journal at home, and you know how curious parents get. And then they went through the book, whatever I had written, and then I'm coming back in the evening from school, and then they're like, wow, you wrote this? I'm like, how did you even get that? You know, it is personal. It's something that it's meant for me. But they read it, they really loved it. They were like, wow, Debbie, you know, you can really write. This is so good. And for me, I didn't feel like it was a big deal. I mean, it was just writing. It was me putting down my thoughts. But if they did not encourage that, because a lot of parents really discourage their children from exploring, and maybe not only in terms of writing, you could find that somebody is interested in maybe pursuing football, and then the parent want them to be a doctor. So they will do everything they can to discourage this person from pursuing what they really love and maybe want them to do something else. So my parents really encouraged me. And I think if they didn't find that book, maybe I wouldn't even have ended up where I am today. So I owe them. I owe them a lot, and I just had to dedicate this book to them because they've seen it all. They've seen it all, raising a young adult, a teenager, a preteen. So yeah, I had to dedicate this book to them. And for my friend Achieng Opio, we have been through so much. I mean, we started writing in a Facebook platform. We'd write articles, episodes of stories, and just post them for people to read them free of charge. And then at some point we started charging because people got so invested in our works. They were really, really interested. They would follow up, like, what are you writing next? And all these things. And Achieng Opio has been with me every step of the way. We've tried so many things. Actually, we didn't start off with writing. We wanted to do film. We wanted our stories to end up in the film industry, like write scripts for people and all these things. And we've tried going after producers and just trying to figure out a way to get ourselves into the film industry, but it hasn't really been easy. And we failed together. We've picked ourselves up. We've encouraged each other until it got to a point we were like, okay, if the film industry is not working for us right now, then why not write our books? At least have one book, to just say at one point, I was a writer if things don't work out at all. But then again, we were like, we are not stopping. Whatever happens, let it happen, but we are not stopping. If the film way is not working right now, let's go the book way. And we decided to write. She's also published. So we decided to write. We had an editor do us dirty, disappeared with our money. And so she's one person that I really value. She's one person who picked me up at my lowest whenever I felt like, no, I can't do this anymore. I'm tired. She'd be like, no, Debbie, we're not giving up. So I owe her a lot. Like she's one person I really treasure. So she means so much to me.
Oh, it's great. It's great to have that support. Now, did I get you right? Did you say that your editor made off with your money?
Yes, our first editor. When we decided to go the book way, we were really amateurs. Like we didn't know anything about publishing and stuff. So she had a friend of hers introduce us to an editor who took advantage of the fact that we were just young people trying to, get into this book publishing thing. So we sat down, had a conversation. She encouraged us. We were actually feeling so good and excited about this whole journey. And then at some point, she just disappeared with our monies. And one thing I'd say is that I know we haven't gotten to this part, but for every person who wants to write a book, maybe this is your first time publishing or something like that, just make sure that the contract you have with this person has some weight, because the editor gave us very shady contract that did not have any weight. Even we thought of suing her and stuff, but now we couldn't do anything with the contract that she gave us. So it was very sad experience for us, but I'm very encouraged that we rose up above that. Like, we didn't let that put us down. We decided to look for a different editor and continue with whatever we had started, though it was really, really disappointing.
Wow, so sorry that that happened.
Yeah.
And clearly you are resilient. You and Achieng are resilient. You will not let anything stop you from your goal.
No.
How were you able to then identify, you know, after that unfavorable experience, how were you then able to identify an editor, a reliable editor who came through?
There's this friend of ours who is also a writer. We started writing together in the Facebook platforms. So we just knew each other like it was some sort of a big family of writers. So he has a brother who has done editing. And so we thought it is safe to work with somebody that at least we know, somebody that we can find should things go wrong. So we just took a risk and said, okay, let's try him and see how it goes. But we were never going to stop. If it failed, we were going to find another way. But we really thank God that it worked in our favor. Like, he was very supportive, he was very helpful, and we finally have our books because he didn't take advantage of the fact that we were amateurs in this field. Yeah.
I'm glad you kept on going.
Yes.
And so, yeah, just, you know, I was unaware, by the way, until you said it just now, that one can write on Facebook and get paid for it.
We had a group. There were so many of us writers. That is where I actually started writing, like now competitive writing, right? We would write and post for people to read. Like I said, we started off doing that for free, just to get people, because at that point I wasn't really really sure that I could write. Because from high school, yeah, people were like, Debby, you're good. But then outside here, now we are in the real world. I want to test, like, if I am really that good, like people thought I was, because I wasn't really confident about writing at that point. I wasn't confident in myself. And I wanted to know what, like, a majority of people thought about my writing. So I remember this one time I started writing this story, my very first story that I posted on that platform. I wrote the first episode and I was like, here we go, Debby. And I posted that episode on that platform. Then I switched off my data. I was like, no, I do not want to know what they're going to say. Maybe I'm not good enough and all these things. I really struggled with low self-esteem at some point back then. So I wasn't really sure if this was really going to work, but I was like, okay, why not? Let me try. If they give positive feedback, then I'm going forward. If they give negative feedback, then maybe I'm better off doing other things. So 2 hours later, I switch on my data and I have so many notifications coming through. Like, people really love my work. Like, when is episode 2 coming? I was like, wow, Debby, so you can really write. And then just like that, I picked it up. So we started posting for free on Facebook at that time in that group. And then slowly we were like, okay, so this is the first book, the second book, the third book. I'm like, why don't we start charging at least, even if it is like 100 bob per person? And the response was good. A lot of writers started doing that. And slowly we started seeing value for whatever we were doing. It stopped being free. So at least we could earn something small from it. And to date, that is how we started earning from Facebook and even WhatsApp. We'd like take the group now from Facebook of those very serious people and bring them to WhatsApp. And yeah, we'd write for them from there.
That's excellent. Wow. I guess
Yeah.
there's a lot to learn here for me because I use Facebook, I use WhatsApp. I didn't know that either platform could be used so dynamically. So congratulations.
Yeah.
And coming back though
you.
to what you shared about your parents, that's wonderful. How supportive they were, how much they really encouraged your talent. So
yeah,
I know that makes a huge difference. Getting support in itself, for example, you got support from your friend at Ching, but getting support from parents, that's huge, and that's wonderful. So, what would you say has been the most challenging thing in the process of having your first book published? What would you say has been the most challenging? What would you say has been the most exciting and rewarding?
The most challenging has to be finances. Apart from the fact that the first editor disappeared with our money, it has to be finances. Because when I was starting the publishing process, I didn't have money to do all that. There is the editing part, there's now the book publishing, the putting together of the book, the cover, the barcode, all these things cost money. And at that point, I didn't have enough money to do this, but I was like, no, I am not stopping. We will go step by step. I'd pay the editor to edit the book. When he's done with editing, if the money for the other things is not there, then we'll pause, we find the money, and then we continue. But then also, I sat down with God and had a conversation with him. I had a conversation with God and told him, you know what, I am not doing it alone. You have to step in and help me out with this situation. And I say that God really, stepped in, because I printed the book. I went through the entire process. The money just, I don't know how it happened, but I'm just saying it is God that made it possible. Yeah, because I wouldn't have done it on my own because of the financial strains, but he really stepped in and I have the book.
That's incredible. Incredible.
Yeah.
And what would you say has been the most exciting or the most rewarding part of the whole thing?
The most exciting and rewarding is the feedback that I get from people, not only through Veiled Heart, but through the other writings that I've done and posted on social media. Like when somebody comes to you and tell you that reading your stories has impacted their lives in a certain way. Because for me, when I started writing, I was writing for entertainment. I do a lot of crime-based stories, crime, drugs, and all these things that young people find themselves in, So when a young person comes and tell you, you know what, Debby, I stopped doing drugs and I use that time to read your stories. For me, that is something positive, and it gives me the zeal to continue writing, because I realize, then I'm not only writing for entertainment, but there's something someone is learning from whatever it is that I am writing. Like they say, there are two sides to the coin. You can either choose to learn or choose the other way. So for me, it's really encouraging when somebody comes and tells me, you know what, Debby, you're doing a good job. You've made me stop doing this and this. I've started doing this and this. For me, it's a plus, and it gives me the courage to continue writing for people, knowing that I am changing lives out there. I am impacting people. People come to me asking, how should I go about this, and this? They're even asking for advice, so it makes me stay humble and it's my pleasure to always know that I can be of help to someone out there. I can help transform lives and make a difference in someone's life. Yes.
That's incredible. That's a great impact that your book is having, that you are having. Wow. Congratulations. That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
And without giving too much away, of course, do you have any more? Okay, clearly you're a prolific writer. Okay, you're writing a lot. You're having great impact. Do you have more writings? I guess the answer is yes, but do you have more writings in the works that, or maybe more books in the works that we could look forward to in the future?
Yes, I do have more writings that you could look forward to in the future. I'm currently working on my second book. Okay, I'm currently working on my second book. Though when I started writing, I wasn't so much into publishing, but now I have the courage, the zeal to now continue writing, because like I mentioned, I wanted my stories to end up being filmed, but like that didn't work so well yet, because we haven't gotten the platform we're really looking for. So maybe it could be pretty much both, if I get the platform, maybe you'll also be seeing some of those movies on your screens. So yes, you should look forward to more books from me, more stories, and probably film in future.
I'm sure your film scripts will indeed, they will land, and they'll be successful. I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
And so we wish you the best with that. And if I could ask you, you're a woman of faith. Even now, you've expressed, having conversations with God, and so you're a woman of faith, Christian faith. And to what extent does your faith contribute to what you write, or what you don't write, even?
I would say it's 50-50, because most of the time I tend to differentiate my art from the person that I am. When you're writing, you're not writing only to the Christians, you're writing to a majority of people. So, and most of the things that I'm writing about are things that happen in the society, things like crime, things like rape, things like, crimes, gang life, and all these things. These are things that affect everyone, Christians, non-Christians, you are just caught up in a crossfire of what you really don't know. So one thing I'd say is that there's so much of judging going around. If somebody knows you're a Christian, you're writing maybe about crime, people are like, okay, how does she know all these things? How does she know how to operate a gun? How does she know about, drugs and all these things? So there's so much judging that comes with the title Christian. And I really don't want to how do I put it? I really don't want that to affect my writing. So I'd really like people to differentiate the art from the artist. Learn from what I am writing, sieve it, pick what can help you, what cannot, leave it, okay? But don't attach the Christianity to it, because then you will be critical of everything that you are seeing, everything that you are reading, everything that is about what this person is writing. So for me, it depends also with the audience I am writing for. Okay. Of course, there are things that I get followed by young people, old people, and you have to balance. You have to know what is beneficial to people and what is not. And that is what guides me, though I do not want to attach the Christianity to it, because then I will like limit myself. Yes.
All right. When you say that you are followed by young people and by old people, allow me not to be in the category of old people. I'm trying to still be young. But yeah, what you've just said there is very deep. Would it be accurate for me to say, from what you've shared, that your writing is not necessarily faith-based? At the same time, you don't compromise your faith with what you write. Would that be fair and accurate?
Yes, yes.
All right, wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, you're right. Judgment is out there. That's part of the territory with writing, with expression, with art. But clearly, you're having great impact among so many with what you write. And so here, as I showed earlier, I have my copy, and people want this book. They want to have Veiled Heart in their hands, in their personal libraries. How can somebody get a copy?
Can reach out to me directly. And for those people who are in Nairobi, the book is available at Nuria Bookstore. It's in the CBD. For those people who are not in Nairobi, you can reach out to me through my social media platforms. Debby Jenn on Facebook, and as well, and Instagram.
I'm sorry,
yeah,
there was just a little glitch. Could you repeat your social media handles where you can be reached?
Yeah, it's Debby Jenn on Instagram and Debby Jenn on Twitter and Facebook as well.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. Wonderful. And then in Nairobi at Nuria Bookstore. Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So any, as we close out, any additional thoughts, anything you'd like to add, anything you'd like the people out there to know?
What I would like people to know is that I would encourage them not to limit themselves, not to sleep on their dreams. I mean, if you know you have a talent, if you know you want to achieve something, go for it. It doesn't matter the negative forces that are around you, because you'll get that a lot of time. Discouragements from people, discouragements when things are not working out for you. You know, people have very high expectations of other people. So don't be too attentive to the naysayers, because you will get that a lot. Just go, like you'd say, go in the strength that you have. Believe that you are capable of doing whatever you want to do, whatever you want to achieve. And sometimes things may not pick off like you would want them. You know, as human, we make plans and we want things to work our ways. But sometimes God really humbles us. He's like, yeah, I let you do this, but it's not yet time for you to shine. So don't give up. Don't feel sorry for yourself. Just do it, okay? And then let God do the rest for you.
You do your best,
don't leave,
and God does the rest.
Yes.
Wonderful. And you are living a testament of that. Well, once again, thank you. Thank you so much, Debby Jenn. I really appreciate your time. I admire you. I respect your work. I love your work. And I wish you the very best. So Veiled Heart, as it has been already, will be flying off the shelves. I love your dream to have a film script. And it will happen. It will come to pass. So thanks again for your time. And thank you for all the impact that you are having through your life and through your writing.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a good experience, and I'm really grateful that you gave me an opportunity to be out of this.